Good afternoon, Leslie.
Good afternoon, Deirdre.
And thanks very much for doing this interview.
You're so welcome.
We have just finished level 2.
We have.
FasterEFT training. How was it for you?
It was unbelievable. Yeah, I think I finally got it. I finally got a huge release while we were here. I can actually honestly say I figured out my pattern.
Good woman.
Yes.
So could you just give us a wee snapshot of your life before FasterEFT? What was your life like then?
Well, I have to say I was very aware that I was holding stuff inside me to the point that it was altering the way I functioned. I was trying to run and hide as best as I could, but still function in the world. And it has just become so difficult for me, or had become so difficult for me, that I was about ready to just burst and actually leave. I was ready to leave. I'd had enough, couldn't do it anymore. Was done, yeah.
And so how then did you find FasterEFT?
On YouTube. Yeah, saw Robert on YouTube. I had done regular FasterEFT, or regular EFT, sorry, and then I saw FasterEFT, and I thought that anything that's faster is great. Faster the better.
And so then what prompted you to go to the next step and take training?
I wanted to learn how the mind worked. I wanted to know how, I knew that I was doing it to myself, but I wanted to know how I was doing it to myself and help heal myself, really, is what I wanted to do, and help others as well, because so many of us are going through the same stuff. And I figured if I could do it for myself, then I could help other people as well. I knew I could do that. Somewhere in there I knew.
So we're living in economically challenged times.
Right.
So why should people invest in the training?
That is a tough one, I think, because we are so conditioned to take care of everything else. But you know, you can't take care of anything else unless you take care of yourself. If you make yourself sick, you're done. You can't work anymore, you can't function anymore, and your world crumbles anyway. So, you know, you've got to spend the money on yourself. And then that helps build everything back up again. And you can face the challenges in your life, monetary or not, all of them. You can do it. You can do it.
So when you say that you were ready for out,
yes.
Was it safe to say that you were suicidal?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So if someone was watching this and feeling the same as you felt,
yeah,
you have a great insight there.
Yes.
What would you say to them?
I would say find yourself a FasterEFT practitioner. It may not be easy to go in there and look at what it is that's going on inside you, but I have to say it's you doing it to you. It's not the outside. It is you doing it to you. And once you go in there and see your patterns and see how you're doing it to yourself, you can stop it. You can stop it. And I saw that today, and I see how I do it to myself and how I hold it in so that nobody else gets hurt. Let it go. So now I know how I do it, and now I have the tool to stop myself so that I don't have to run and hide anymore. And I want to stay.
Is it safe to say it's just a thought?
It's a thought that you've been practicing since you were, for myself, I have to speak for myself, it's a thought that I've been and a program I think that I've been practicing since I was very little and didn't even know that it was there, but I've been practicing it. It's been my mantra, I think, my whole life. It's been my, yeah. And it's been an affirmation, and an affirmation is anything that you repeat and say to yourself over and over, positive or negative, and mine just happened to be negative. Great negative affirmation, and I believed every word of it. And so now I don't have to do that anymore. I stopped the affirmation. Yeah.
So how did you do that? How does FasterEFT work for you?
Well, you have a practitioner who does try and poke you a bit so that you can go into these emotions, because sometimes it can be hard to do it yourself. So that's why I would recommend you get a practitioner, because some of these things are big chunks. This was a big chunk for me, and I needed somebody to push my buttons, to take me back so I could feel all those emotions inside of me, and then it's almost like you can see yourself doing it. It's like you've separated and from the unconscious mind, and you're actually looking at yourself and seeing how you're actually producing all of this stuff. And then with the tapping, you can let it go, and you can just let it go. And then the messages from the mind that go into the body, it tells the body to relax, and you can feel yourself relaxing, and you know, like I was almost physically being sick, throwing this, like the emotions were just coming up. And now they're not there anymore. It feels very peaceful.
It sounds a bit scary.
It does sound scary, but you know what? It's not really. You have to be brave, but yeah, you just have to be brave. But it's worth it. It's worth it.
So it's safe to say that we have almost a pandemic of suicide,
yes,
across the world now?
Yes.
So what would you say to someone who was feeling those suicidal thoughts?
I think we're all looking for a way out, and yes, suicide is one way out, but there is another way too. And I think we all would like to have that other way, but I know when you're in it, it doesn't look like there's any way out. But if you can just, when you have a positive moment, or you're just feeling just that little bit better, and you can, I know there are times when you go down really low, but then there are times when you can come up just even a little bit, just a little bit for a gasp of air or whatever. That's the time. Look up FasterEFT on YouTube. There's lots of Robert's videos on there that can help you, and you can start tapping right away. You don't have to wait. And I know sometimes it can be, you don't want to share your problems or tell anybody what's actually the demons that are inside you. And with FasterEFT, you don't have to do that. You don't have to tell anybody, but you can still tap. And nobody, even when you're working with a practitioner, they don't have to know what you're tapping on, but you can still let it go. And that's the great thing about FasterEFT. You don't have to tell anybody what's going on inside, but you can still, at the same time, you can let it go.
So Leslie, you have a great insight.
Yes.
You have been inside the head of someone who is suicidal.
Yes. Yes, most definitely.
How can FasterEFT help someone who is suicidal?
I think right off, even if you just go to the website and start tapping on yourself, you will notice that just working on just the depression and letting it go will help you come up a bit, so that you can actually see the world a little clearer than that dark place that you keep going to. And the more you do it, the clearer you get. And then things don't look quite so black and quite so dark. And you don't have those horrible feelings inside of you, and you keep tapping and you keep tapping, and pretty soon you can start to see things differently, and you can pull those little things together that gives you the strength to say, yes, I can do this.
Good woman. Let it go. Good job. Good woman. Let it go.
Let it go.
Let it all go. Good woman. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Let it all go.
Let it all go. Good girl.
This is still a bit of a new feeling for me because I just released a big chunk today. So it's still fresh, but now I know why I do the things that I do. And FasterEFT gives you the insight, as I said before, it just gives you the insight of how you do things, but it puts you in control now instead of all the other things on the outside putting pressure on you. And it does, it puts you in the driver's seat and you can control, you are in control now of healing yourself and making yourself better.
So what would you say to someone who's out there?
Try it.
Feeling suicide.
Yeah. Just tap. Yeah. Tap it out. And what can be easier than this? Let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. How easy is that? No drugs, no nothing. You just tap it down.
So, good job.
Thank you, thank you.
What do you see as the future of FasterEFT?
Oh, sky's the limit. I mean, I don't know where it can go or how far. I mean, like, it's just way out there. I mean, it's phenomenal. I'm glad that I had this experience so that I can finally, you know, speak out and say what I have to say, because, yeah, it is phenomenal. And it is just starting to take off now, I think, you know, where, and there are a lot of people hurting, and a lot of young people too. And if you are young, you don't have as much stuff that you're carrying around, so it'll be easier for you to let it go, let it go, let it go, and just let it go. Peace.
And what would you say to someone who may be a bit older and think, well, maybe it's all too late? What would you say to them?
Well, it's never too late. I'm 60, so, you know, away you go. It's never too late, yeah. And I think a lot of us have been people like myself that have been carrying it around for a long time. It's nice to put the load down. It's time to put the load down. We don't have to carry it around anymore, and it is very easy to put it down, yeah, if you choose to do it.
And how do you see your life in the years to come as a result of FasterEFT?
I haven't got that far yet, but now I can actually see a future. I know that I don't have to run anymore. I don't have to hide. So it's looking pretty bright. Yeah, yeah. And too, if I can help other people, I mean, now I can relate to other people. I know some of the processes to depression myself, personally. So that gives me a little more insight to other people that are going through the same thing. And even though your stories might be different, which is fine, you know, everybody's story is different, but our processes sometimes can be the same, and so we can all just let it go.
And what would you say about the amazing Mr. Smith?
He's amazing. He's a genius. Yes, I mean, it is truly amazing how he has pulled all of these things together and made a really incredible healing modality for all of us to, you know, it's simple. You can use it anywhere. As he says, you can tap on the toilet, you can tap in the bed in the morning, you can tap wherever you are, and nobody even has to know that you're doing it. And it's, you know, yeah.
Thank you very, very much for the honor and privilege of doing an interview with you today.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored too.